Kyle Austin, Mike Griffith here at Spartan Stadium ahead of Michigan State Central Michigan on Saturday. And Mike, last time Central Michigan was here, 2009, I think is a day state fans would probably like to forget.
Well, there was one game they were here they got beat, so that was 2 trips ago. But yes, Mark D'Antonio certainly does remember that. And of course, he talked to his team about how Central Michigan beat Michigan State and Kirk Cousins in 2009. And of course, it was brought up to him again today. The one time that he lost a non-conference game when ranked was Notre Dame. So Coach D'Antonio reminding his players of losses and that they can happen. You know, as good as those teams were back then that started out well, losses can happen. So that is certainly on Michigan State's mind that they've got to continue to play good football. They can't just roll their helmets out there and expect to win.
Yeah, I don't think Central is quite the Dan Lefevre teams that quite at that level, but this is a team that played Oklahoma State a tough game, took Syracuse to overtime. Those are Power 5 teams. They're not Michigan State, but I think they showed they've got a good quarterback, a Lansing native, in Cooper Rush, so I think they have the ability. Obviously, it would be a big upset, but they got to be on their toes again, Michigan State. These non-conference teams outside of Oregon, no real huge woes, but everyone's kind of dangerous for them, I think.
I think so, too. And, of course, being an in-state team, Kyle, there's added incentive. A lot of these guys were recruited by Michigan State and ultimately told, no, you're not good enough. Go to the MAC.
Including Cooper Rush.
And now they're going to have some motivation coming down here to Spartan Stadium against a Michigan State team that really hasn't closed out games impressively. They have beaten Oregon, and as Coach D'Antonio pointed out, they've beat some teams with some pretty good records from last year. But certainly I don't think Michigan State has proven itself bulletproof. Being ranked number 2 isn't worth any points when that game kicks off on Saturday, Kyle. So it'll be interesting to see the mindset of the Spartans when they take the field against Chippewas. Noon Saturday, still tickets left. I think over 2,000 tickets remaining.
For a number 2 team in the country, and I guess you'll get Central Michigan game, but still not quite back in the house. But a couple personnel changes for Michigan State this week, 2 new starters. Who are they?
Well, you got Shane Jones at middle linebacker. Riley Bullough has been suspended for the first half on account of a targeting call that Mark D'Antonio doesn't necessarily agree with. But as he said, those are the rules. So Riley's out for the first half. And in comes Shane Jones, a guy that was recruited a few years ago, really well thought of. He was highly recruited. Him and Rescue were the 2 highest graded recruits in that class. So it'll be an opportunity for Shane Jones. And, we've seen Arjun Calhoun starting at corner now in place of Vante Copeland. Of course, we didn't really know a whole lot about Copeland's injury until last week when he didn't dress. So should be interesting, and some young guys, Kyle, that we've seen pop up on the depth chart.
Yeah, starting to think about who they want to take the red shirts off of now. We've got Grayson Miller, Kentucky safety, jumped all the way up to number 2 on the depth chart. Actually made his debut, so his shirt's off. So he should play this weekend. Played well on special teams. D'Antonio is happy with that. And then Carly Willis, just down the road. High school fans remember him at Jackson Newman Christie as an amazing running back. He's in the 2 deep now, or 3 deep, I guess, at safety. They're thinking about taking the red shirt off him, too. So I think they're kind of seeing who might be able to help them later in the year, working them with the 1s, 2s, 3s. And I think these next 2 games will have a sense of which freshman will end up playing this year.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Delton Williams is going to play this week. D'Antonio said that he needs to get more reps in practice. He's not sure about how they can split carries 3 different ways. I'll be interested to see how that story develops. I know Delton Williams had planned and hoped to play this year, but obviously Madre Lana and L.J. Scott had done a pretty good job. But, there were questions against Air Force. They didn't really break any long runs, and if they have another game like that, you could see Delton Williams up in the bullpen, I think.
Yep. Well, that'll do it for this week. Michigan State, Central Michigan, and lovely noon game again on Saturday here at Spartan Stadium, and we'll see you there.